Okay, the recording has started and want to say good morning to everyone, good afternoon or good evening if you're joining from a little further away. Thank you for joining this week's edition of our BDPA Tech and Career Talks. We're excited to have Elaine Norman with us from ITSMF today. So we'll get into a little bit more around what that is all about and how you can get involved there here shortly. First, we wanted to start off just asking everyone to keep our co-founder of BDPA, Mr. Earl Pace, in your thoughts and prayers. Keep him lifted. He is currently in the hospital. His family is with him. I believe he's in high spirits, but I'm just asking everyone to keep him lifted during this time, that he'll have a full and speedy recovery.
Mhm.
Definitely a gem for this organization and the IT industry in general. So we want to keep him lifted as he's been super beneficial to us. So I wanted to take that time, Mr. Pace. If you do happen to watch this, you are in our thoughts and prayers. Now we wish you a full, speedy, well recovery.
Mhm.
Um, so along those lines, Mr. Pace and a few others began BDPA in 1975 as a way to connect professionals in the IT world, helping them get from the classroom to the boardroom, but also as a way to continue to build a talent pipeline of African Americans in the tech industry. So BDPA has a focus around building computer programming skills in our youth, but as well as continuing to connect and provide a forum for professionals in the industry to connect, network, and develop their skills so that we continue to have more leaders in the IT world. So
Mhm.
that's just a piece about BDPA. I'm Devin Jenkins. I'm with GE Healthcare in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm a senior technical product manager in our supply chain digital technology space. I've been leading the tech and career talks for the last year or so. And prior to me, we had Chandria Seaton, our immediate past national secretary, who was leading these. But twice a month, we pull in different speakers to speak on a range of topics related to IT, technology, and just careers in general. So we've talked about cloud this year. We've heard from AWS and Google. We've heard from Blue Granite around data and analytics. We've had some entrepreneurs come in, and we have even more coming throughout the year. So thank you for joining. Glad to have you. I'll get into a quick intro of Elaine before I turn it over to her and allow her to introduce her own self, and then we'll get into a little bit more about ITSMF.
Mhm.
So Elaine Norman is Vice President of Member Services and External Affairs for the IT Senior Management Forum. ITSMF increases the representation of Black professionals at senior levels in technology to impact organizational innovation and growth. Um, as an accomplished technology strategy and operations management focused executive, Elaine has always been drawn to companies dedicated to innovation and improving the human condition. She has served as Vice President of Support Services for Electa Incorporated, Senior Director within Hewlett Packard's Global PMO Office and the Office of the CIO. She's been Senior Director of the Enterprise PMO for SageNet, Vice President of Technology for the American Cancer Society, Senior Director of IT Strategy and Planning for Georgia Pacific Corporation, and the CIO for the United Way of the Metropolitan Atlanta area. So a strong 25 plus year career, in addition to
Watch out
some
now,
of
Devin. Watch out.
in addition to some of these roles, she's also been an advisory board member for the Global Leadership Forum, Georgia CIO Leadership Association, and of course ITSMF as an advisor for the Women in Technology Foundation. So she's done far more. I won't read it all to you. I'll let her get into that if she so chooses. But at this time, we are glad to have you with us, Elaine. How are you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for that, Devin. I didn't know you were going to read all that. I actually forgot some of that stuff. And then I thought, wait a minute, folks might be able to start doing the math. So let's be careful there. So thank you so much for that. Well, listen, I am just so glad to be here. And I'll just tell you, I was thrilled when you tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, let's get you connected with the BDPA Tech and Career Talk so we can talk about ITSMF. And I was thrilled because I get a chance to talk about not one, but two. organizations that I am just so proud of and just so thrilled to be connected with. As you mentioned, ITSMF, which stands for the IT Senior Management Forum. We started, actually, we are celebrating our 25th year anniversary. And in that time, you know, we have just proven over and over again that this mission of increasing the representation of Black professionals in leadership levels in technology is not only important, but it's also relevant and current, and it stays relevant and current. You know, we are 1 year from the horrific, you know, anniversary of the killing of George Floyd, and 100 years after the Tulsa massacre. And those events, while they're not about, well, they are actually about, one of them was about business, but you may say to yourself, well, you know, how do I make an impact? How do I, you know, recover from that? How do I get us past that? Because that is what it takes. It takes us pulling together and getting past it so that we emerge as successful and as strong and staying encouraged. And the way to do that is through programs and organizations like ITSMF and BDPA that are focused on economic empowerment and are focused on education and are focused on supporting one another. So when you tap me on the shoulder, I'm like, I'm all in, let's get going. So thank you so much for that, Devin. I'm going to share just a quick slide just to keep us a little bit grounded here. And hopefully you're seeing the screen. But as we mentioned, the ITSMF mission is about increasing the representation. But it's even bigger than that. We have programs and services, and we support our members' mind, body, and soul. And listen, we have been partners with BDPA for many, many years. ITSMF, Earl Pace, Terry Morris, Viola Thompson, who is our president and CEO of ITSMF, have been collaborators for many, many years. As I mentioned, we're celebrating our 25th anniversary, and I think BDPA is 30 plus years. And in that, you'd be amazed at the work that's going on behind the scenes between the two organizations. And so we want to talk about ITSMF, but we also will talk about the partnership between our two organizations. So you'll see in the blurb there in purple, we support our leaders' mind, body, and soul. That is because our members and executives, there's a 360-degree view of every person and certainly of every member and every executive. You don't just come to the table with your professional self. You also are bringing your family, you're bringing your mission, you're bringing your causes, you're bringing your background, you're bringing your authenticity. And so at ITSMF, we support and develop our leaders' mind, body, and soul. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. The other thing that I want to talk about is, while ITSMF stands for the IT Senior Management Forum, we say it stands for It's My Family. And that's a wonderful way to remember the acronym ITSMF. You just think, it's my family. And we do. We become an extended family to our members. The ITSMF network is broad and wide. And so, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing because we share our professional and personal development experiences to uplift one another. How fortunate it is if you have an opportunity to have someone in your network that is willing to share their experiences, share helpful tips, help you to navigate and avoid landmines, help you to see further than maybe you can see immediately. And this is what ITSMF is about. It's about mentorship, it's about development, it's about encouragement, and we are dedicated to one another's career success. And then I'll just share another thing. You see this mantra at the end of the slide. ITSMF, we have a mantra that if an ITSMF member calls, you answer the call. We don't mean, you know, in a couple of weeks. We mean within a day or two. If you're on vacation, just let the person know, hey, I'm on vacation, but I'll get back to you. But we are here for one another. All right. Devin, I could go on and on. I just want you to just interject when you want to ask a question or want me to pause, or you hear something that I'm reflecting on that you'd like for me to go deeper, but I'll keep going unless you tell me otherwise.
No, you're on the road. Do your thing. Let them use you.
Thank you for that. And thank you to my helper in the background too. So in terms of ITSMF, you said, okay, I get it. You're a membership-based organization. There's so many membership-based organizations out there. So what's different about ITSMF? Well, ITSMF, we say we have this secret sauce. And that secret sauce are all the things that make us unique. At ITSMF, you can bring your authentic self to the table. I'll just share a quick story about myself. So you mentioned that I have been the CIO for United Way of Metropolitan Atlanta. And I thought I knew every nonprofit out there because of the work of United Way. I certainly knew about BDPA. I knew about other organizations supporting the community. At that time, 2004, I had not heard about ITSMF. And I thought, well, that's interesting. But just like many of our members, you come to know about ITSMF from someone else. We always say that at that time, we were saying that we were the best kept secret. We are now trying to be the best shared secret, so that through platforms like this, and because of the wonderful work of this organization, we want to get the word out no matter where you are in your career journey. So we know that through professional development opportunities, through providing visibility in the industry and giving back to the community, these are the three-legged stools of ITSMF. And so in terms of our professional development programs, we certainly have our signature symposiums. We hold symposiums that are open to not only ITSMF members, but to friends and connections. So no matter who you are, you have an opportunity to attend an ITSMF symposium. We hold our symposiums 2 to 3 times a year in different locations across the country. Certainly in this pandemic, as did many organizations, we had to pivot to a virtual platform. And our goal, and we were very successful in it, was to emulate the in-person experience as much as possible. When you are at an ITSMF symposium, you are at an event like no other. And that is because you genuinely feel the support. You genuinely feel the family atmosphere. You genuinely know that you are surrounded with other technology leaders and professionals who allow you to bring your full self to that experience and your full self to the table. You can bring your full tech geek self. You can bring your full executive leader self. You can bring your authentic self and have all of that embraced and understood and affirmed. And that certainly was the experience for me when I attended my first ITSMF symposium. For the first time in my career at that time, I had been, certainly I had been invited to speak at trade events, to be a panel participant, to share. But for the first time in my career, I felt embraced and just affirmed, and being able to not have this weight of, oh my God, let me not say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, still be my professional self, but be able to bring whoever you are to the table and not feel like, oh my God, if I drop a dangle a participle, I'm going to destroy it for everyone else that comes to be, behind me. And so that is what is unique about an ITSMF symposium. The other thing, beyond our symposiums, we also have networking events like this, where we embrace and work with our corporate partners and our strategic alliance partners like BDPA. So we have networking events that we host and co-host with those organizations, which provide additional opportunities to get further development and to network with one another. It's through those opportunities that you say, well, what's happening with my brother or my sister? What's happening with my ally friend? And we can be able to support one another in that and in each of our respective journeys. We also have what I call our signature leadership development academies. we have 3 academies. We have our Executive Academy, we have our Management Academy, and we have a Merge. And each one of those programs have been developed through experts in not only academia, experts in business development, and experts in adult learning. And these programs allow, we say to our corporate partners and our entrepreneurs, come to us. You're certainly a leader, but we're going to make you an even better leader. And so our signature leadership development programs do just that. And then finally, we are big on mentorship. We know that in order to keep the pipeline strong, you have to have mentorship. And we provide opportunities for our members and friends of ITSMF to get involved, even if you didn't know about ITSMF, even if you didn't know about BDPA. We encourage you to become a mentor to another professional coming up. Now, in ITSMF, we provide opportunities for mentorship at a peer level. Even as a senior executive, you want to have a board of directors. And that board of directors needs to be comprised of folks who are not only mentors, but sponsors, but certainly can assist you in a loving and supportive way. And sometimes in a, just got to give you the bare facts, but help you to further develop and to be a resource for you when you are facing, say, a career decision of your life. Or maybe you are in a professional or personal situation where you need additional perspective. Maybe you are at your job and you're on a 10 count. You need to, wait a minute, I need another 10 count. Let me reach out to my mentor to say, you know what, I'm seeing something here. Maybe you see something different, but help me out here. That is what mentorship is about. It is about helping you to navigate, even at senior leadership levels, okay? We provide opportunities for mentorship at the executive level. We provide opportunities to mentor those who are in our academies, our academy cohorts, and opportunities to mentor through our college mentoring program. We have a college mentoring program where college students, those in the STEM careers, can come, get a mentor, also get exposed to internship opportunities. We also have the ITSMF scholarship. And so we are engaging at various levels. Now, we know that BDPA, you guys are at, I think you say, from the classroom to the boardroom. And there's an intersection there. ITSMF is certainly at the executive level, director level and higher, but we also support at the early career stages and through our college mentoring. And those are some of the places where BDPA and ITSMF partner, in case you didn't know. And then finally, in terms of providing visibility in the industry to our members, we have the ITSMF Speakers Bureau, and it's an opportunity because organizations, both corporate organizations, our strategic alliance partners, know that our ITSMF leaders are those who are at the top of the industry. They leave their ego and titles at the door, and they provide and contribute their ability to provide speaking through speaking engagements and thought content through trade publications. And so we provide speakers for organizations like Gartner. We certainly partner with BDPA in providing speakers at the annual convention. And we provide thought content to publications like CIO Magazine, like Black Enterprise, Savoy, the Enterprisers Project, just to name a few. And then we give back to the community at every ITSMF symposium. We believe in giving back to those communities that we visit. We have done community service opportunities like assembling hygiene kits for the homeless. We have done bicycle builds for children who otherwise would not get a bicycle. We have done laptop refurbishment and distribution for those who are maybe on the wrong side of the digital divide. We do mock interviews and interview prep sessions and career talks for those entering STEM careers with organizations, certainly like BDPA, in support of your robotics competitions, through your pitch competitions, and we support that. Those are all the things that help to extend the pipeline and help support the mission. And so we give back also through the ITSMF scholarship. I know BDPA also has a scholarship opportunity, and we promote our scholarships, because the thing is to get the word out. You'd be surprised how much money is on the table and our people don't know about it. And we must get the word out about these scholarships. And so we have scholarship opportunities and internship opportunities as well. So Devin, those are just some of the things I wanted to share. And I'll just quickly do the call to action, and we'll talk a little bit more. But how do you support the mission? What is the call to action? Well, the call to action is to get involved and get engaged, no matter what. Whatever your stage in your career, whatever your step in life is, there is an opportunity to get engaged and involved, whether it is attending an ITSMF event. Like, for example, you don't have to be a member to attend our virtual leadership series. Our virtual leadership series, if you go to our website, you'll see our events. But our leadership series are open to the public. And here is an opportunity for you to get a glimpse of what ITSMF is about, some of the topics that we talk about. We talk about certainly leadership and development and technology topics, but we also talk about, especially during this past 18 months with the pandemic, with the racial awakening, so to speak, with the economic impacts that were happening. We have talked about things like meditation. We have talked about, even as a busy executive or professional, how to take care of yourself. We have talked about how to promote your brand. We have talked about how to get engaged in the community. So even if you're not a member, and certainly we encourage you to become a member, but if you're not a member, you can get engaged by participating and joining one of those events. We make them convenient. Many of them happen during the lunch hour. Many of them happen after hours, but we make it convenient for you to attend. So I mentioned the virtual leadership series, and certainly if you are a professional and seeking to develop yourself further, whether that's at the senior executive level, whether you're mid in your career, whether you are through our college mentoring program, our leadership academies. And there's one I didn't mention, Devin. We have our Leaders of Color series. Our academies have been so successful. In fact, let me tell you some of the statistics about them, right? 85% of our graduates, 85% go on to either get a promotion or to have expanded responsibility in their organization, or to take on a new role within 18 months of graduating from our programs. And that is what makes them so popular. And so I encourage you to go check out our website to find out more about our academies. And then certainly our signature symposiums, attend one if you get an opportunity. We have been conducting them virtually since the pandemic, but here is an opportunity to get and see leaders, CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, entrepreneurs who are making moves, entrepreneurs and innovators in the industry. It's through that, our symposiums are an opportunity to get connected and see who's doing what and what should you care about, you know. And then if you are the leader of a corporation, certainly we have sponsorship from many organizations. And certainly if you are out there and you are either the leader of a corporation or you are an influencer in a corporation, we ask that you promote ITSMF and BDPA, promote ITSMF and become a corporate sponsor. There are many ways to sponsor and partner with ITSMF, whether that is sponsoring an individual to be a member in the organization, whether it is sponsoring someone to attend one of the academies that I mentioned to you, the Leaders of Color program, sponsoring and bringing that in-house to your organization, whether that is sponsoring through your stewardship. These are ways for our corporate sponsors, and we have many allies, but we are seeking many more. And then through the mentorship and community service are ways to get engaged with the mission of ITSMF. And then to donate. If you can't, for whatever reason, you can't do all those other things, you can certainly donate, right? We have seen through this political landscape that small dollars can even add up to bigger things, right? So there you go. You can donate if you can't do anything else. And then we ask that you stand hand in hand with ITSMF and BDPA in support of our missions, our respective missions. So I'll pause there, Devin, because you know I can go on and on, and on. But I'll stop sharing and let's talk. Let's talk further.
No, I thank you for doing that. I think you covered a lot of ground and really set some context for ITSMF and what you all have going on. I think I want to hone in a little bit before we open it up to the rest of the group here for
Okay.
their thoughts. But I think I do want to just spend a little bit of time specifically on the partnership between ITSMF and BDPA.
Yes, yes.
So we've, both of our organizations have been working together for quite some time now. My introduction to ITSMF was when I attended my first BDPA conference in 2016 in Atlanta. And that was Jim Fowler was the CIO for GE at the time, and he was one of the keynote speakers for you all symposium. And one of my mentors, who I still work with today in GE, he introduced me to someone else from GE at the time, and I ended up meeting up with them in California a couple of weeks later, and it all just kind of came full circle. So I know our organizations have been tied, at the hip for quite a while now. But as we look forward, it's 2021. The tech industry has definitely changed, and it's evolving every day at this point. How are ITSMF and BDPA being innovative and how we serve the needs of Black talent in the tech community in today's world? And what are some things in the pipeline?
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I do want to talk about one thing, because sometimes people will say, hey, it's a 30-year plus organization in BDPA's, case, and 25-year organization. How is it possible that you guys are still relevant? Absolutely. We are still relevant. Why? Because the mission is still needed. Our missions are still needed. That's why. That's one reason. The other thing is organizations like ours, because, certainly other organizations are out there, but we are our two organizations, we cover the gamut in terms of, like you said, from the classroom to the boardroom, and on this mission of moving the needle in terms of leadership in IT. And not only do we have relevance, but we have sustainability and proven programs and services. That is the difference. That is the difference. You talked about innovation. We certainly have had to be creative. The last 18 months, we were already innovative and creative before that, but the last 18 months have challenged everyone, not only corporations, not only causes and missions, not only individuals, but it has challenged everyone, no matter where you are. We had to figure out how to do things differently, number one. But even before that, ITSMF and BDPA were in conversations to talk about how do we make our partnership even stronger? What do we need to look forward to? And some of those things, just to give you a little sneak preview, right? You didn't hear it from me, but a little sneak preview is that we have been collaborating. We certainly have been collaborating to say, how do we partner more on our virtual events, number one. Things like this is a result of that. Things like inviting BDPA to our symposiums to talk to folks like Terry Morris, to have conversations with our audience, to spread the audience between our respective members. We have provided volunteer opportunities between the two. One of the things that I'm really excited about, ITSMF and BDPA have now been focusing on our entrepreneurs. We have always had an entrepreneur program in ITSMF called Ignite. Ignite is a forum that is both for entrepreneurs and by entrepreneurs. And it's an opportunity for our entrepreneurs to come together to talk about and to share and support one another in things that are interest to them as entrepreneurs. So things like how to scale and their businesses. During 2020, a lot of the conversation was about how to go after the stimulus packages. Always conversations about how to go after rounds of funding. Those are some of the things that are topics around Ignite. But in terms of the ITSMF and BDPA partnership, we have been focused on not only equipping our leaders to be leaders in the corporate arena, but also to be the creators of technology, not just the consumers, but the creators of technology and the creators of jobs through being the creators of technology. And so those are some of the programs that we are collaborating around, how to bring things like supporting our entrepreneurs through pitch, supporting our entrepreneurs through, again, rounding funds, how to support one another to get visibility through the networks, through collective support economically. Those are one of the programs that we're excited about. The other, I mentioned our college mentoring program. We know that BDPA is huge in terms of having college chapters. And so through the combination of supporting the college chapters and pairing them with our college mentoring opportunities, we invite BDPA members to be mentors to our college through our college mentoring program and in support of the BDPA college chapters. And so that's another point of partnership between our two organizations. Those are two that I'm really, really excited about and come to mind, Devin, that I wanted to just share with this group.
Thank you for sharing those. And I'll just piggyback off of that. I'm a part of our committee that's working on establishing these college chapters. So we'll definitely be looking for mentors as we get these chapters going and keeping these students engaged. We'll definitely be looking for mentors for ITSMF and BDPA going forward.
Right.
So we've done a good bit of conversing on your side of the table today. I want to open it up to the audience here for any questions or comments anyone has. So at this time, you are able to unmute yourself and take to. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but please correct me if I did not. I know you dropped a good question in the chat, so I want to let you start us off.
Sure. Thanks, Devin. And thank you, Elaine, for helping us today understand, your organization, the impact you have. My question, and it is Takeo, you got it correct.
Good.
My question is more around the leadership programs you have in place. In your mind and seeing, your career trajectory from your point of view, the relevance of a master's program and an MBA program, given that I see many forums where there's this, it seems like an addition to, enhancing skills of the individuals that go to these institutions. So are these, in your mind, sort of additive to a master's in a higher education, or are they sort of a replacement for, and just your perspective on that?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. It's a supplement, and let me tell you what's different. So I've had an opportunity, I've certainly had the opportunity to go through an MBA program, and there are things that you learn through those programs, the academic programs, but there are things that you don't learn. At the leadership levels, especially when you get to the C-suite, when you get to the director level, depending on the structure of your organization, the air gets a lot thinner at the top. And the buck stops with you, all right? And you have to know how to navigate that. You will face situations that you go, oh my God, certainly that wasn't in a textbook. Certainly they didn't cover that. And especially as people of color, especially as Black people, there are things that you need to know how to navigate. I can just share with you, certainly, I'm at that really point of intersectionality, right? African-American, woman, leadership, all of that converging. And I can share with you so many instances where I went, what? Did they really say that? Okay, let's deal with this. Well, you don't know how to navigate. You may get fortunate, and navigate your way through it. But to be able to have the tools and techniques and just someone, an opportunity to understand what energy you are bringing to the table. How are you being perceived? What's your executive presence? How do you understand other cultures? How do you navigate other cultures? If you're in an organization that's global, do you kiss, bow, or shake hands? What do you do? All of that you learn in our leadership academy. So it's a supplement too. You also hear from other other leaders who have been there, done that. And you say, oh no, that couldn't be relevant today. Absolutely, it's relevant today. I guarantee you that many people on this virtual session have gone, yeah, I went through that. I've been the one where I bring up an idea in the boardroom or in the conference room and nobody heard it, but Johnny says it, and all of a sudden it's the best thing since sliced bread. Wait a minute, I just said that. Didn't they hear me? So I guarantee you that those kinds of things that you have to navigate through, it takes knowing and hearing from others who have traveled the road before you and who are paving the way. So you get that through leadership development program like our Global Institute for Professional Development. And so hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, wonderful. Someone said, Quentin, yes, definitely been there, right? Oh. One of the things that I'll share with you that our members meet once a month in what we call a member meetup. And it's an opportunity for us to come together as members, but not only to find out what each other is doing, whether that someone's gotten a promotion, whether or not someone is gotten assigned to a board, whether or not someone has changed roles. It's not only an opportunity to stay connected with one another, certainly, especially during this pandemic, right? But it's also been an opportunity to discuss topics that are current and relevant. For example, through our member meetups and actually our virtual leadership series, we've had an opportunity to explore topics. For example, last week, we talked about, all right, people are getting their vaccines. What does that mean for companies such as going back to the office or the workplace? Many organizations had to pivot very quickly and provide opportunities to work remotely. And a lot of discoveries, a lot of organizations found out that, you know what, it works. Didn't know it could work, but it works. But now the question is, are folks going to return back to the office? Are folks going to be remote? We found out it's both. And so now the challenge is, how do you support this hybrid organization? Those are some of the topics that we talk about. What is your organization doing? What are your plans? How do you navigate that? What are some of the gotchas? As a leader, what are the things that you're responsible for? Not just from a technology infrastructure perspective, but also from a leader, people health, well-being perspective. Those are some of the topics that we stay current and abreast on. We have partnerships with organizations like the Institute for the Future, organizations like Gartner, because we want to make sure that we stay current, not only on current technologies, but emerging technologies. Devin, you mentioned Jim Fowler. I'll never forget the conversation that we had with him and his organization, which was GE, to talk about digital twins and how that technology is propelling organizations to be able to do things like support components without actually having to be there. These are some of the topics that we've covered from a technology perspective at our symposiums. We've done digital twins. We've talked about big data, huge data. We have talked about the Internet of Things. We have talked about drone technology. We had a wonderful display with drone technology during one of our symposiums. We also have had a young fellow come in and talk about so many cybersecurity topics where he was able to demonstrate what's possible and what you and your organizations need to watch out for. Okay. We have executive coaches that we lean on and lean into. We have in-house executive coaches that bring content and help our members and those at our symposiums learn about themselves as leaders and how to further develop yourself as a leader. So those are just some of the things I just wanted to also touch on.
Thank you for that. Do we have any other questions on the call? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Sure. I want to make a comment. I'm sorry to interrupt. Elaine, so good to see you again. Yes. So yeah, crazy story. So yeah, I found BDPA as I was an intern at Hewlett Packard many years ago. I guess maybe it was around 2009, 10. I don't remember the year. It was a while back. But through another former manager, excuse me, Natasha Gary, actually. So
Yes.
She took us down when we were, college interns. I was just one of the first interns from Prairie View A&M University that was at Hewlett Packard at the time. So it was really an amazing experience. I just want to say, representation really matters because that exposure so early did a lot for me in my career as a college student, as I matriculated through my career now, and Elaine served a major part in that too, just being, a fearless leader. And, just setting the great example for us to follow, like moving forward. So I don't know what it was that just caused me to check my email today as I was, checking my normal work email. And I saw Elaine's name and I had to come and, I just had to do it. I just logged in and I had to become a part of it. And I didn't know anything about ITSMF, but I'm so glad I did. And I learned a lot more now. So moving forward, I'll be sure to, incorporate a little bit more of my BDPA participation and ITSMF because this is so necessary. I can tell you now. I'm currently at Phillips 66, but I'm a part of the IND Council, as well as I'm a committee chair for the Black Employee Network. So I'll just tell you now, all of those seeds that were planted in my career, as a young college student are really still growing now. So I appreciate it.
Oh my God, Andre, it's so, oh my God. I just did not know you're going to be here. I
didn't know I was going to check my email today and see your face. I was like, wow, Elaine, okay, I got to join now. So I'm so glad I did.
I'm so glad you did too. Some things were just meant to be, right?
Exactly.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I see some really familiar faces. I see folks like, my brother Kendall Norris. I see Kirby Burton. Let's see. I see Renee Pierre. Let's see a few more names that I see. William Hicks. I know William. Let's see. Any questions or comments? This is not the Elaine show. Anyone who has anything to share, we want to hear from you. One thing I'll also share, Devin, in terms of, I talked about giving back to the community. I just realized, do folks have the ability to unmute their mics, Devin?
Yeah, Elaine, I was going to ask you a question.
Oh, okay. Renee, go ahead. Thank you.
I was going to ask you about talk about your transition from being a member to actually working with ITSMF.
Oh, that's a beautiful question. Thanks so much, Renee. So as I mentioned earlier, I have been a member with ITSMF since around 2004. And that's when I first got exposure to the organization, shortly thereafter. And I fell in love with the organization, and to the point of at the first symposium that I attended, two things just stand out for me. Number one, I'm always one that I'll strike up a conversation, standing in line, sitting at a lunch table, whatever. And I had an opportunity to sit next to another ITSMF member. I wasn't a member at this time. This was my first visit to the symposium. And at the time, the team that I was with at United Way, we were having trouble navigating through a unified communications or voice over IP implementation. And I was just happened to share that, at the conversation at lunch. And a member who was sitting at the table said, "We just went through an implementation at the bank. Call me on Monday. We'll help your team." I thought, what? Oh my God, here's someone who doesn't know me from Adam, but because of the nature of the organization and what it means, ITSMF, sure enough, I called him on Monday and he was able to help my team navigate through the issues that they were having. The other thing that struck me, Renee, at that first symposium, I mentioned it was the first time I was able to just bring my full authentic self to that symposium, to the point, and I didn't expect this, and I'm not a big boo-hooer, but at the end of that symposium, I literally shed tears because I felt this weight that I'd always been used to carrying by myself. I felt that weight go away because I felt here is a group of individuals who are here to support and I can engage with and I can navigate with and I can share with. To the point, Renee, that I not only became a member, but I also got engaged to being a part of the board of ITSMF over the years. And then, so serving through volunteerism, right? And then we determined that this need for support of our members and the member services and our external partnerships needed to be a full-time thing. And so I was able to transition from my corporate career, and I am now doing what I call my legacy career, encore career, on staff as the Vice President of Member Services and External Affairs with ITSMF, and I couldn't be more fulfilled. I get to touch others in their career journey and hopefully make a positive impact, even as Andre talked about. So thank you so much for that question, Renee. Thank you so much. And Renee, I don't know if you want to talk about your career journey and what impact ITSMF has had on you. I'll give you that opportunity if you want to share. There she is.
Yes, I can certainly do that. Well, most of you don't know that I am Renee Pierre, and I serve as the Vice President of Development and Partner Engagement. And I have been with ITSMF for approximately 15 years. And so I had the pleasure of working alongside Elaine as a board member and a member. And it's kind of come full circle in the fact that we work together very closely, being that she's in partnership in membership and I'm in partnership, and those go hand in hand. And so ITSMF for me, I came initially just to be, I was transitioning out of my consulting road warrior days and really just wanted to, I'd left Deloitte and several other consulting firms and really just wanted to take a breath as I began to start my family. And subsequently, I'm still here.
Right.
I'm still here. And so ironically, I really took a sidestep, I don't say a back step, and came as Viola's assistant. And so with that, allowed me the ability to be connected to these tech leaders. And the irony in that is that I have a tech degree and CIS and did not know about ITSMF as I was matriculating through my early career. And so I don't believe that anything happens by happenstance and that everything is divinely ordered. And so I've been able to stay connected to technology and technology leaders through service and, in helping others, usher others to their very best in their careers. And, to have the support of an organization like BDPA and ITSMF, because I was definitely introduced to BDPA very early on as I'm a staff person with ITSMF. And so that really just, you blink and it's 15 years later. And several members have become staff members of ITSMF, as they call it, in preferment. Not retirement, because preferment.
That's right.
And so it has just been, a pleasure watching, the connection between ITSMF and BDPA. We would always say one of our rites of passage would be, you definitely have to go to a BDPA meeting That's just a requirement.
Yes.
And the award ceremony that we used to have. And so it really is for me, hard work and being able to serve the people of this organization.
Mhm.
And helping people who want to ascend to the C-suite, help them to be able to do that, and help organizations really understand that diversity, equity, and inclusion should be a part of their fabric. It's not a mythical being. It's really should be just as simple as brushing your teeth every morning, that it becomes innate to your organization's culture, and that everyone has the right to be successful in a corporation if that's the path that they choose.
Right.
And so with me, I've had the pleasure of connecting those dots with organizations for the past 10 years in this role. And I just appreciate it. Thank you, Elaine. And so I am going on to a different family, if you will, with ITSMF, but ITSMF is a really integral part of my story and a part of how I became the professional that I am.
Thank you so much, Renee. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. If there are no other questions, I wanted to touch on one thing that Renee said, which was, Devin, very quickly. Many times our members and friends of ITSMF retire, quote unquote, retire, right? And think to themselves, I'm just going to put my feet up on the beach and, that's that. No. This is still your call to action. We have many friends and members of ITSMF who have retired from their corporate careers, have either launched new things in their lives, but still participate as mentors and supporters of ITSMF. So I want to encourage anyone who is still out there to stay engaged, no matter where you are in your career journey. And then on the other side of that, if you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I'm too young, I haven't achieved where I want to achieve yet, I can't pull somebody up. Yes, you can. You can pull someone up as you are going up. And that's what we encourage you to do as well. Volunteer, get involved, mentor, sponsor, no matter what level you're at. Support the ITSMF and BDPA partnership in doing that. Devin, I bet you've got some closeout things, so I'll stop talking, zip my lips, and let you go from here.
No, thank you for sharing with us today, Elaine. Always glad to highlight our partnerships with other organizations who are advancing the mission of essentially trying to make sure we're well represented in the tech industry, and that continues to happen for future generations as well. So thank you for sharing with us. It's definitely been insightful, even for me as a facilitator, and hopefully others agree and feel the same. If you look in the chat, I did just share 3 different links. The first is the ITSMF website. So if you want to learn more about anything Elaine has shared today, itsmfonline.org. You can go there and learn more about ITSMF. And opportunities available and ways to engage. The second link, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about all these BDPA meetings, and I not encourage you to register for the upcoming virtual conference, August 12th through the 14th. So 2021.bdpa.org. Please go register for the conference coming up in a couple of months here. It's always a phenomenal occasion, so we want to invite you this time around to make sure you don't miss out on that.
And
then
hey,
the last,
Devin, many ITSMF speakers will be at that, so it's another opportunity to extend the partnership.
Absolutely. Always a big collaboration there. Usually the symposium usually happens in conjunction with the BDPA conference when we're in person. And then the last thing that I've shared is our Tech and Career Talk page. So if you want to see some of our past talks, this one will be uploaded on that page soon as well. But that's bdpa.org/Tech and Career Talk. So 3 links for you there in the chat. Copy, paste them, save them, so you can access all of them. But again, thank you again, Elaine, for sharing with us today. Thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you next time. Stay safe and have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, Devin. Great
Thank
job.
you.